Good morning, everyone. Welcome to New Bedford and welcome to PACE. We are so thrilled to be hosting you at the Kickoff for the LIHEAP and Fuel Assistance season. My name is Genesis Galan and I'm the Director of Community Impact here at PACE. I'm speaking on behalf of Pam. Pam is not feeling well today, so she could not be here. But knowing Pam, instead of resting, she's probably live streaming the event right now. So Pam, thank you for your leadership if you are watching. PACE is the community action agency serving the greater New Bedford area. We provide services which help support our community and those who find themselves challenged with meeting their basic needs. PACE Fuel Assistance is one of the major programs we offer to help accomplish the goal of providing that support. As our program progresses today, you will be hearing exactly why our Fuel Assistance program is so important to the greater New Bedford residents and to the Commonwealth overall. Before we move on, I would like to take a moment to thank the PACE staff that is here today. So if you are a part of the Fuel Assistance team, may you please stand up so that you can be acknowledged. Yes, Pam did this, not me. Pam. Yep. Great shirts. I'll sign your shirts.
I take an extra large.
Perfect. We'll put that order in. So I would just like to introduce Joe Diamond, the Executive Director for MASCAP, the Massachusetts Association for Community Action Programs. Thank you.
Thanks, Genesis. And can we thank Genesis again for helping us get started today? I'll be quick. I know we want to hear from the mayor. I'm Joe Diamond with MASCAP. MASCAP is the association of the 23 federally mandated anti-poverty agencies operating here in Massachusetts. And we're so pleased to be here in New Bedford with the folks from PACE. I want to thank Pam and Genesis and the whole PACE team for helping us organize this. I want to thank Lisa Clay, who is our communications director, also for shepherding this along. Today is a really important day. We always look forward to being able to kick off the fuel assistance season. It's such an important program. When I talk about community action, I often talk about the 100 programs that we offer. Fuel assistance and a few others are signature programs. We serve 150, 160,000 households each year with fuel assistance. It's one of the programs that most of our agencies run. I think 20 of our agencies run fuel assistance at this stage, or more actually now, 21. We're thrilled about it because it's one way that we help people stay warm in their homes, but it's also a way that we help people get connected to other programs. It's a powerful program. It's an economic support program. It's a health and safety program. It's a housing preservation program. There have been studies done by Boston Medical Center, for example, that show that households that receive fuel assistance have healthier outcomes, that children grow up healthier and develop healthier with fuel assistance in the home. So we are very excited about fuel assistance. And from the program, you can see that it's a partnership between community action agencies, between allied organizations, between local elected officials, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and between elected representatives, some of whom are represented here today, and with the state, the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. I wanted to recognize Ed Kiley, who's here from HLC. Little drama, thank you very much. I wanted to thank Ed for being here. Ed is a wonderful partner with us in implementing this program. And through you, Ed, I also want to thank Secretary Augustus for all of his support. So thank you and thank the Secretary. And finally, I want to note that as a partnership, we work closely with our elected officials, and every year we update our elected officials as to how things are going locally, how things are going with people that we serve. And we don't always ask, but when we do, often the state legislature and the governor will respond with supplemental fuel assistance resources, and that's actually what's going to be happening this year. We have some resources from state allocation, which are going to be supplementing the federal. So that is a wonderful partnership that continues, and we will continue our conversations with our elected officials about a possibility of a fuel assistance line item. So we're thrilled to be here. Thank you very much. And now I'll turn it back over to Genesis.
So thank you, Joe. And now it is my pleasure to welcome New Bedford's Mayor, John Mitchell.
All right, good morning, everybody. All right, welcome. Genesis, thank you. Thank you for pinch hitting for the eminently capable Pam Keachler. Everybody knows Pam. We are live streaming to Pam. Everybody wave to Pam. All right. Pam somehow picked a 70-degree day to talk about home heating assistance, but that's okay, right? It's no joke. It is people might wonder, like, oh, okay, well, why? And to quote for you Game of Thrones fans out there, I'll quote Ned Stark and say, "Winter is coming," and last year. You think about last year. Last year was one of the warmest winters we had on record. I literally did not break out my snow shovel the entire winter. It was one day I was like, I should have shoveled, but I wanted to go the entire winter without doing it, so I left the snow there. But it was really warm, and yet Pace still served, through its home heating assistance program, almost 11,000 homes in Greater New Bedford, right? That's about as low as it gets, right? That's my point, right? In other words, there's a ton of need out there. And as we talk about need, as we discuss the role of the program, it really does fit into that category of services that are about the basics, right? If we can create opportunity in our city, in our region, in our country, much more if we can provide those in need, just the basics, right? We're not doing handouts, but if we know we can make sure their people are fed, that they have shelter, that they have heat, that they have access to education, access to childcare, then it's up to them to pursue opportunity, right? And health, you could add healthcare to that list as well, obviously. But that's kind of what that's the role it plays, right? A roof over your head only does you so much good if the place is freezing. And luckily, we are very lucky here to have a number of program providers who help, but it's led by Pace. You guys do a fabulous job. You're really committed to the mission. You make a big difference in people's lives, so much so that you might not even know your full impact, but take an occasion like this to know, to take stock of it, that you are really making a difference in people's lives, especially children. And so I want to thank you. We do these kinds of events to draw people's attention to the availability of the assistance. So let the word go forth that if you are somebody who needs assistance in heating your home, you need to pick up the phone. You need to come here. You need to get in touch. You need to contact Pace one way or the other. And by the way, you just might find out that you are eligible for other services that Pace provides. Really important. So you guys do great work. Folks who are here to support you do great work together, but we all need to be evangelists for this assistance, because if we were able to pull it off, we're all going to be better together. I have a lot of thanks to offer up. I want to thank our federal delegation. You can see Senator Markey's stuck in mid-sentence right there on the video screen, but he's always been a big champion of this program, federally funded, passed through to the state, and then ultimately to local service providers, as well as Senator Warren, Congressman Keating. I want to thank the Healy administration, Joe, you and Secretary Augustus, for all of your work in backstopping the program here in New Bedford and across Massachusetts as well. Welcome. We have a number of folks from other regions of the state, Liz Barabee from Fall River, and a number of others who are doing similar work and supportive work. I want to welcome John Devine, the state's new fire marshal. I told him that our goal in the city is to give him less business, but we appreciate the partnership. And I want to thank our state delegation for all of their support. Senator Montigny is represented here today by Audra Writing, and I was going to say Representative Cabral is represented by Kate Miller, but we have Representative Cabral himself standing off in the corner right there, and Representative Chris Hendricks as well, all big supporters of this program. Look, it's a big team effort because I think everybody recognizes that this stuff's really important, right? Kids need this more than anybody. Families need this in order to thrive, and we want every family in our city and in Greater New Bedford to thrive. So nice job, everybody. Let's get out there and let everybody know that they've got help right here. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Mitchell. 11 years as mayor, and for every one of those years, I know that you've been a great supporter and beyond that. So thank you again. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce Fran Stubbs, who is the Fuel Assistance Director for PACE.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor. As you said, it's a beautiful day today, but we live in New England. Winter's coming, so we need to be prepared. My name is Fran Stubbs, and I'm the Director of the Fuel Assistance Program. I've been employed by PACE for 40 years and the Director of the program for 35. At this time, we have 20 employees working and dropping mics. Excuse me. How does that keep going?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Working for fuel assistance and have taken, as we were noted, over 11,000 applications for the past year. And we're striving to help many more people. We service the Greater New Bedford area, Fairhaven, Mattapoisett, Rochester, Marion, Dartmouth, and Acushnet. Predictions are we're expecting a very cold and snowy winter. Like I said, we live in New England. The income guidelines this year are very generous. Many people think they are not eligible, but they need to call the office and find out for sure. The income guidelines for a household of one can make up to $45,392, and a family of four can make as much as $87,294. We do both face-to-face and online applications. Applications can be submitted online by using the PACE link at www.paceinfo.org and click on the Fuel Assistance Program. The online application site is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which makes it very convenient for people that don't or cannot get out of their house. Once they do an application online, an intake worker will call them and complete their application. There are other benefits of being eligible for the program, such as Eversource offers a discount rate of approximately 30% of usage on both gas and electric. And oil companies offer a lower rate per gallon for our clients. We partner with Citizens for Citizens for system replacement and repairs of the heating systems. There is also replacements for non-efficient refrigerators, freezers, washing machines, and other great perks through the weatherization program. It has been an honor to work with my staff and serve the clients of New Bedford. We do it because we care. We do it because there's so many people that need the service. We try to treat people with respect and integrity at all times. Our slogan is, no one should be left out in the cold. I thank you.
Thank you, Fran. And I just want to highlight, she's been here for over 40 years, and she has dedicated so much to our agency. So I want to get another round of applause for Fran. And so today we have Jean Costa, who is a client of our program, to speak directly to the program and the impact it has on her. Thank you.
Actually, I'm here to speak on behalf of my mother. My name is Jeannie Costa, and I'm here today on behalf of my mother, Mrs. Ruth Costa. With the care and love provided by me and my family, my mother lived to be the great age of 101. And I truly believe that my mother was able to live a rather healthy, longer, and more independent life by living at home. My mother moved here to New Bedford from Princeton, New Jersey, and she married my father in the early 1940s. And besides doing domestic work, she was one of the original Rosie the Riveters who worked at the Quincy shipyard during World War II. Later, she would work as a domestic and then at the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, building tires for 30 years. I'm sharing this with you to demonstrate how hard my mother worked throughout her life and how proud she was of being fiercely independent. In her later years, Mom started to show signs of dementia. And as her daughter, I felt it was my duty to care for her the way she cared for my brother and me. I made sure she had a place to live, which still allowed her to have her independence. And one would think after all those years of hard work, her compensation would be reflected in her pension and Social Security. You wouldn't think she would ever need assistance from anyone or any organization, but unfortunately the cost of living would somehow surpass both incomes. Like most of the people of her generation, my mother was a very proud woman who came from hard-working, proud parents who didn't believe in handouts. They believed that as long as you could continue to work, you would never have to need to ask anyone for help. But as we know, that's not the case today with the prices of utilities and other practical necessities such as food and shelter constantly on the rise. Today, there are more people who are in serious need of help, and they should know that there isn't any shame attached to obtaining a helping hand up, which shouldn't be confused with a hand out, from programs like the Fuel Assistance and Mass Cap. We are very thankful to the Fuel Assistance Program and for people like Fran Stubbs and her staff for making my mom's life a little bit more comfortable, which allowed her to live in her own home until the age of 101. This was my mom when she came here. This was just before she became Ruthie the Riveter, and this was her close to 101. Thank you.
Hello again. I just wanted to take a few minutes again to emphasize how much we appreciate working with our elected officials. All of those who are here and those who are represented here understand these communities and work so closely with community action agencies across the state and with PACE. Senator Montigny is unable to be here today. I wanted to say a few words about him and what he exemplifies, and I think that's exemplified by everybody else who's here. First, I wanted to thank Audra Riding, who works with Senator Montigny and on his team, who's here. Thank you very much for joining us, and please thank him for us. So, Audra, if you don't mind saying hello to everybody. Thank you, Audra, for being here. Senator Montigny has been served in the legislature since 1993, and the reason I bring that up is that probably shortly after 1993, we began to join our elected officials at the State House to talk about fuel assistance. And the dialogue that we had with the senator expanded to others. And it was since that time, I still remember this, that we were in a position more and more to be talking about the need for state supplement when it was needed. And so we just wanted to, through you, Audra, thank the senator, and please let him know that we very much appreciate that historical role that he's played with fuel assistance. So thank you.
And now I would like to introduce Representative Antonio Cabral, who has been a great supporter of all PACE programs and especially fuel assistance. I have to tell you, Representative Cabral, when I first started working here, in the main office, I started looking through the archives, the board minutes, all the pictures, and there you are, in every single picture for Head Start, for fuel assistance. So I'm very thankful for you and the support that you've given us. So my pleasure to introduce Representative Cabral.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I would like to look at those pictures. Probably no gray hair or anything like that, right? So, but anyway, it's been, to me, this is a program that is extremely important, as you all know. I think I'm speaking to the choir here, or preaching to the choir, I should say. And you know the need that exists in this community, in this great area of New Bedford, but in particular the city of New Bedford. There's a great need. This program really makes a difference for many, many families, so they can spend and use money for other things like food on the table, so they don't have to give when they have assistance through the fuel program, you know. I have office hours every month, as you may know, and especially in the wintertime, when the cold starts arriving and the house gets a little nippy in the morning, right? Guess what? We got a lot of folks stopping in, looking for assistance and where they should go. Believe it or not, how important and how long the program has been around and how wonderful job PACE has done really leading this program locally. Many people still don't know where to go for assistance. So I see a lot of folks, especially elderly folks, and some of them, obviously, their first language is not English because they think they can come to my office hours and speak to me in Portuguese or Spanish, because we do have that ability as well. So we have a lot of those elderly folks coming through looking for some help. You know, the other issue, as you may know, is housing. I mean, every month I have people looking for assistance in terms of their rent, in terms of some people even own their own home, and they having problems, you know, meeting all the obligations that they have. In terms of those who own homes, we've been able to help some folks in New Bedford through the senior circuit breaker. Believe it or not, some of them were not familiar with that program. And you don't even have to be just a homeowner. You can be a renter and still qualify for the senior circuit breaker program. We just, in the legislature, we just passed the bill, the so-called tax relief bill. We upped that program from $1,500 to $2,400 yearly for a person that qualifies. So that's going to go a long way, and that's tied into inflation, so it goes up every year, gets adjusted. So it's a wonderful program as well. But you know, I usually like to tell you this story. About 6 months ago, and I think some of you, I was going to say the mayor already heard the story, but I don't think he's here anymore, right? But anyway, about 6 months or so ago, I had an elderly woman come to my office hours around housing. Not to mention fuel assistance. She needed fuel assistance as well. And she worked, she's retired, she lives on Social Security. She worked all her life in New Bedford at the mills, the various mills we've had over the years. And here she was facing the possibility of losing her apartment. She lives on a 3-decker in the South End, on one of the apartments of the 3-decker, because the house was being sold and the new landlord was going to go up on the rent. And the new landlord was going to go up to $1,400 a month. She was paying $600 before that. The house was owned by a Portuguese family. The house was paid for. They usually rent things cheap if they have good tenants, right? But that's not the case with some of these new landlords, right? And her Social Security check was exactly $1,400, right? So what do? How can you, besides trying to make sure she was on top of the issue for fuel assistance for this winter coming, this coming winter, but also how we find an apartment that she can afford. they're still in the works. I think we refer her to apply for Section 8, for also subsidized housing. She was not too thrilled about that. She liked living where she was living. But Section 8 program is like a 1 or 2 year wait list. So it's not an easy, quick solution. So I tell you the story only because to give you an example, and I'm sure you come across this many times, especially those who come in for a fuel assistance program. It's between fuel, it's between rent, it's between food, and that shouldn't be the case. They've worked all their lives, and they gave back to this community. So I'm so glad that all of you, the wonderful job that you do, that you try to help these families and these individuals through the winter, obviously, but also throughout the year to make sure that they live in dignity and have some respect from the community that they gave so much to. So thank you. You are on the front lines. We appreciate all the work that you do. We're just advocating for more money every time, and sometimes we've been fairly successful, not only with our federal partners. Senator Markey obviously is a big champion, a big supporter of this program as well, and myself and my fellow legislator here, the other state rep from New Bedford, Chris Hendricks. He's fairly new, but he's got in there and works with us shoulder to shoulder to make sure that we deliver as much as we can. Of course, I think Senator Montigny was already praised, but it's never enough because he does wonderful work. He's a great partner on the other side, and we got to have a partner on the other side. And he's been a very, very good partner on that. So sorry he's not here, but we have the next best, which is Audra. Audra, she's always everywhere with us when Senator Montigny can't be, and she does a wonderful job as well, not only representing Senator Montigny, but she does a wonderful job on the things that she does. So Audra, say our best to the Senator and to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Cabral, and I just want to echo what Representative Cabral said. We do have State Representative Chris Hendricks with us here today, and he's been a grand supporter, so thank you. If you want to say a few words, go ahead. No, I know, but I saw you move forward. Go ahead.
Thank you. So when I came in here, I heard, sorry I was late, I came in, I saw the mayor talking, and I saw the senator intently listening to the mayor, and I was like, what the hell's the mayor talking about? That's so, as legislators, as elected officials, it's ultimately it's our job to make sure people have the basic needs. And this program is such a vital part of that mission. But it's all you in here who put it into place, who put it into action. So I just want to simply say thank you to my great colleague, Tony Cabral, to the mayor, to Senator Montigny, who's always been a champion for this program ever since I was young. I can remember him talking about this. So I just want to thank everyone in the room for what they do day in and day out for this program. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mary Niddle, and I am the Director of Energy Resources at Worcester Community Action Council. I also co-chair our MEDA group, which is the Mass Energy Directors Association, which is the affiliation that connects all of our fuel programs and energy efficiency programs around the state. MassCap does that at the executive level for all our agencies. So everything that we do in PACE and in all the agencies around, we're all doing together. So it's a real pleasure to be here with you today. My first job and great honor is to read a statement from Senator Elizabeth Warren. Thank you, everyone gathered here this morning. Oh, that had an exclamation point. Let me do it again. Thank you, everybody gathered here this morning. I unfortunately am not able to be with you in person today, but wanted to take a moment to express my gratitude for the work that groups like MassCap, PACE, and others are doing to help keep folks safe as the weather starts to change. No family should have to make a decision between being able to keep their house warm or choosing to provide food and shelter for their children. LIHEAP has helped hundreds of thousands of families in Massachusetts, and as it begins to get cold outside once again, we are reminded of how crucial this program is. I cannot thank all of you enough for the hard work you do to ensure that as many families as possible are enrolled in this program. I have pushed for continued support and funding for programs like LIHEAP, and I will continue to do so with my colleagues. I am happy to announce that despite concerns around government funding, there was a $2.5 billion included in the LIHEAP funding in the continuing resolution passed earlier this month. Additionally, the Department of Health and Human Services has announced a new LIHEAP eligibility tool to help even more families get enrolled more efficiently. Wins such as this show the need for more access, and I will support efforts like this. Thank you again to everyone here today, and thank you for the work you are doing to help keep families warm this winter. Together is how we get things done, and know that I am with you in this fight. Thank you, Senator. Let me get my papers together now that I have the senator taken care of. So Fran and all the speakers previous have done a great job highlighting some of the features and benefits of LIHEAP. I'm going to add a couple more and talk to you just a little bit about how the opportunity to be served by LIHEAP in a household can take a step further for energy efficiency. As we said earlier, it is very easy and convenient to apply for LIHEAP at agencies all around the state. Our online portal is super convenient any time of day, and new enhancements are being added to it all the time, including people will be able to get feedback about the status of their applications, which is great. Everybody who is eligible for LIHEAP is also eligible for energy efficiency services. Some of that includes heating system repair and replacement. We get more thank you notes about heating systems than I think we get about anything else. It's a very holistic program. Everything that Community Action does is holistic. We're serving every member of the family, and we're looking at all of their needs, including heating and reducing costs. And I know a lot of people have referred to how mild the weather is, but the costs of heating have never been higher. And a lot of the clients that we're seeing have utility bills that they've accumulated over the summer trying to manage their cooling. So all of this works together. Folks who are eligible for LIHEAP and their electric company is one of the municipal, not a municipality rather, but one of the publicly held National Grid Eversource, you get a discount all year round. You're protected from termination during the winter months. There are a lot of very important benefits there for everybody. We would also like to highlight that the energy efficiency on people's homes through the Weatherization Assistance Program and utility-funded work is ensuring more energy efficiency, lower demand on your household budget to keep your house warm, but it's also helping to save our environment. We're increasingly focused on reducing carbon emissions and making places a safer place to live going forward. So we want to thank everybody again for being here. Remind you, $87,000 for a family of 4. That's a high limit. We all know people who fit into that profile. We all know people like your mom who've worked really hard and are very inclined to say, I want to leave that for someone who needs it more than I do. All these folks who've worked really hard, this money is for you. You've paid into it. We want to take care of you, and you deserve to be warm and comfortable in your home. And be connected to us in community agency, because that's where we're going from here. Thank you, everybody.
Hello again. As we prepare to introduce our next guest, I do want to take a second to echo what Rep. Hendrick said about folks that we work with. And I wanted to thank Kathleen Golden. Is Kathleen around? There she is. Kathleen, do you mind just waving a little bit? Yeah. Kathleen is part of the PACE team that helped us pull this together, so I wanted to make sure I thanked Kathleen. Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Fire Marshal John Davin is a true public servant, and again exemplifies the partnership that we have with the folks that serve us with our elected and appointed officials. He served our country as a U.S. Marine. Thank you for your service. And has served in Massachusetts, Northampton, with that department for over 20 years and as chief there. And happens to know one of our members who runs the agency in Greenfield. He's educated in Massachusetts at UMass and is now, of course, the state's fire marshal. And it's interesting, I was reading about his bio, he maintains his emergency medical technician certification. So we're probably not going to need that today, but just so you know, he's a man of many talents. So please help me welcome.
Good morning. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate the EMT comment, but I'm not a very good one. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's been a long time, but I'm happy to be here this morning. Thank you. And thanks to the mayor and PACE and all our community action agency partners for helping us spread this important message this morning. Heating equipment is the main source of carbon monoxide and the second leading cause of residential fires in Massachusetts. Over the past 5 years, we have experienced more than 6,000 home heating fires in the Commonwealth. These fires took 8 lives, including firefighters and civilians, and caused more than 140 injuries. On average, firefighters detect carbon monoxide in nearly 5,000 incidents statewide. With home energy prices so high, we are concerned about those numbers going up. First and foremost, I want to emphasize how important it is to have working smoke and CO alarms in your home. When you change your clocks next month, be sure to check your alarms as well. They should be installed on every level of your home and tested each month. All too often, we see families lose their homes, or worse, because they were not protected by working smoke alarms. I recognize that Home Energy Assistance Program provides a critical assistance to families that need it the most. We know that tragedy can strike when people have to choose between keeping warm and keeping safe. And we know that well-maintained heating equipment is much less likely to cause a fire or a carbon monoxide incident when it's well-maintained. It doesn't just help folks save money, it actually helps save lives. Please take a minute today to see if you're eligible. And if you have any questions about home heating safety, visit our Keep Warm Safe website at the DFS webpage. So I appreciate you having me this morning, and thank you very much. I appreciate all your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you again. And now I'll be introducing Sylvia Nobre-Hilton, the Chief Operating Officer at Coastline.
Hi, good morning. So I'm very short, I guess. Look at this. Wow, that's like at my forehead. I don't want to knock anything over. Good morning. I do have a well-prepared speech, but I think that Jean, as well as Representative Cabral, have stolen it from me because many of the things that I have on here are things that have already been touched upon. And it's, as more people speak, I can see how we're all intertwined. We're all part of this community and we all have to help each other. So Coastline is an aging service access point. We help 60 and over, and we are one of 24 in the state. We all do the same thing, and I can say that I safely speak for all of us. We are in 6,000 homes in the greater New Bedford community. We see firsthand, we walk in and we know that there's people without heat. We get calls daily saying, I need heat, I don't have heat, I need help. Not just with fuel assistance, but with many other things. The State Fire Marshal just mentioned the carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. We're in the homes, we look for those things. We make sure that people have what they need in the home to be safe. Everyone wants to be living independently. It's very important that we give them what they need. We provide information, services, supports for everyone that may need it that's 60 and over. So if you know anyone, please send them to Coastline. Many of the points, Social Security goes up slightly every year, but where it goes up, it will go down somewhere else. You might get an extra $25 here, but they will take an extra $25 somewhere else. Taxes, food, the cost of food is through the roof now. It's very difficult for elders to be able to purchase food, pay their rent, pay their taxes, and they really don't have money for anything else. Many of them live with just their basic needs, and even not that. Most often, they are going without somewhere. So it's really important that we have partners such as PACE to assist us. We also do SNAP benefits if need be for food, but fuel is going to be very important coming up within the next few months. We do go into homes and notice there are people that are shivering and really have their thermostats set at like 55. No one in their 60s that have worked or need that basic human right should be living in a home with the temperature that low. So we help them. Through the partnerships that we have with PACE and other community organizations, we are able to provide assistance in homes. So I thank everyone here. It is truly a community effort. And Coastline is here to service anyone 60 and over. One more thing I'd like to add. I did have, what I wrote on here was that the seniors are one of the most affected populations. And then I read in one of the flyers that were on the table that elders make up 54% of fuel assistance recipients. So that is a huge amount. Again, I thank everyone here and for our community partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Oops, just got to bring this back up. And now I'm going to introduce Thomas Gard, the principal for Gard Oil, another partner. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me today. No one stole my speech. I didn't have one prepared. I didn't get the memo from Fran, but with that being said, as I sat there and I'm the delivery component for all the applications that you take, our company is. And I never realized, honestly, the collaborative effort that it takes to get that application to us for us to make a delivery. And I'm part of it. I've been part of this for many years, and it's impressive to see the effort and the people that are in the room today. How we really feel that we're a partner with you folks is at the end of the day, when you guys get that last application, and I guess it was said there was 11,000 of them recently or last year. Know that we'll always deliver that. So if it's at the end of the day and it's been a long day for you folks, please know that we'll deliver it if you take that one last application. She's been here 40 years. She's hard to say no to be quite honest with you. And we've always tried to really, because we know, and my office staff and my drivers know that you guys make such an effort to go through those applications day in and day out, that no matter what, we will make that delivery, whether it's an emergency one, whether it's a planned one, whether it's on a weekend. So know that you're not, just do the last one, we'll take care of it. And again, I thank you for having me here today. It's my first time coming to this event, and even myself, as long as I've been involved with this, I'm impressed today, and I commend all of you. Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
Thanks, Thomas. We really appreciate it. I'm going to actually do a sort of a couple of introductions. The first will be, or not the first, but I will be eventually introducing Senator Markey's remarks. But before I do that, I wanted to also express our appreciation to Senator Warren for joining us via her statement, and Mary for reading it. But after Senator Markey will speak, and you'll hear in a second, because he's involved in that very dramatic pause up there, Liz Barabee will be joining us, and Liz is going to close for today. Liz has been working in the Fuel Assistance Program probably for her entire tenure. Am I right about that? Yeah, for her entire tenure at CFC, which is about 40 years. And so she, along with Mary, are our network experts on fuel assistance and weatherization. And so we've asked Liz to help us close. And the reason I bring Liz up as well is that Liz maintains a strong working relationship with our federal delegation, including Senator Markey's team, sort of like we do with our elected officials in the state of Massachusetts. She connects with Senator Markey's team often to talk about the big issues related to fuel assistance, but also about the day-to-day implementation issues. So, Liz, we look forward to your closing, but for now, let me just introduce Senator Markey's video. The senator has been, as I say, a champion on fuel assistance and has actually proposed over the years an increase in that line item, the increase in the authorization. It's typically $5 billion is what we hope for. The allocation is usually a little less than that. His proposal, if I'm right, was about $10 billion at one point. So he is a strong advocate, to say the least. Please, let's hear from
My
him.
name is Senator Ed Markey, and I am so grateful to join NASCAP today to kick off this season's Fuel Assistance Program. As we head into these cold winter months, it is vital that families across the Commonwealth can afford to heat their homes in order to stay warm and safe. They shouldn't have to choose between heating and eating. They have to get the resources they need. And with rising energy prices, freezing winter weather just around the corner, the importance of funding to help families in need with heating bills could not be more clear. And that's why I fought so hard with the rest of the Massachusetts delegation this year to secure more than $130 million for the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program from the Department of Health and Human Services to ensure tens of thousands of Bay Staters can get the fuel assistance they need. This is part of the $3.7 billion going to families throughout the country this year to help lower heating costs ahead of the winter. And it's why I reintroduced the Heating and Cooling Relief Act in February. This bill would expand the LIHEAP program so that all eligible families can get necessary fuel assistance and to leverage LIHEAP as an investment in climate adoption and clean energy technologies. And thanks to the Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, Massachusetts will receive more than $80 million in weatherization funding to help families reduce their energy use and lower their energy bills, with almost $20 million coming to the Commonwealth last year alone. So we just have to stay on this pathway. And again, just this month, I was proud to join some of my fellow senators in a letter urging President Biden to support supplemental funding for the LIHEAP program for 2024 fiscal year. All of this work could not be possible without the advocacy of NASCAP. Your partnership is indispensable. You are the advocates. You are the ones building resilient and self-sufficient communities across the Commonwealth. I look forward to continuing to work alongside all of you to support and protect American families. We will keep fighting for bigger, bolder, LIHEAP investments so that households in every corner of our Commonwealth aren't forced to choose between chills and bills. No one should be forced to do that. You are truly doing God's work here on earth. Thank you for what you do every single day.
As Joe mentioned, and thank you, Joe, for the kind words, my name is Liz Barabee. I'm the Executive Director at Citizens for Citizens, the sister agency of PACE, and we're located in the Fall River area, and we also service Greater Taunton. PACE and CFC are partners when it comes to providing home energy services in the Greater New Bedford area, and I am proud to stand here today with PACE. The good news is I am the closer, so we are at the end. But what a great testimonial from our own Senator Markey, and as you can tell, he gets it. A special thanks, I would be remiss if I didn't say thanks to Congressman Bill Keating. He represents the New Bedford area, and he has a special place in our heart at CFC because he was our congressman as well for our service area until recently, actually. All of our federal legislators are true supporters of the energy programs. I would like to extend a big thank you to the state and local legislators who advocate each year for additional funding for our home energy assistance program. Our state legislators continue to hear our needs when we pick up the phone, and they act positively by including fuel assistance funds in the state budget. We are very lucky in our area that we have Senator Mike Rodrigues, representing us, and he's the chair of the Senate Ways and Means. I think Mike is probably tired of all the texts he gets from Liz at all hours of the day and night, but he is very gracious and never tells me, please, Liz, stop texting me. So we do appreciate, his patience with that. Recently, we did receive notification from the Department of Health and Human Services about our Massachusetts award. This will allow Massachusetts to draw down some funds to start the operations of our program. And as Senator Markey alluded to, a few days ago, President Biden called on Congress to support critical domestic program needs, which included LIHEAP, in the amount of an additional $1.6 billion nationally. This White House request actually came from our neighboring Senator, Jack Reed of Rhode Island. Quickly, our legislators signed on to that letter. With this information, although we are still concerned that 1117 could be a shutdown, we are relieved that we will have access to some federal and state funds to keep our most vulnerable households warm and safe, and the possibility of receiving more in these times of need. I want to give a big shout out to our governor's office and the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, that's a mouthful, especially Ed Kiley and his team, who work hand in hand with all the agencies in the Commonwealth, as well as Secretary Augustus. With such a positive working relationship, we wouldn't be able to assist as many households each year. Last winter, Massachusetts took over 201,000 applications, an increase of slightly over 13% from the year before. So clearly there is a need for this program, but as other speakers have mentioned, there are people we are not reaching. So when I leave here today, I want people to take away 3 things. Our guidelines are extremely liberal. Fran mentioned, people would be so surprised, but you got to check out our websites. For a single person, you can make up to $45,392. Now that is gross, not net. For a couple, 2 people, $59,359. But for the whopping $87,294 for a family of 4. Clearly, these guidelines are for people who work. So please, share the word. We try to figure out what's the best way of advertising, and everybody always says, oh, it's word of mouth. So please, share as much as you can to people. And it might be not that person who's eligible, but they may know someone. So number 2, Fran and Mary both talked about the fringe benefits that you apply for home energy assistance. It's not just us paying, heating bills. First of all, that's not the gist of the program. The program is about keeping people warm, safe, and in their homes. But one of the most important things with applying for fuel assistance is that utility discount. Depending on where you live in the state and which utility, the discount can range from 25% to a whopping 46%. So again, it does depend on which utility you use, but that's a big fringe benefit. And that discount isn't just during the winter heating season. It's 12 months a year. So, people should really understand that there's more to fuel assistance than just helping with your heating bill. And as Mary mentioned, our weatherization and appliance replacement is a huge benefit. All these things make our dollars stretch, and that's what we want to do. And finally, apply. We can't tell you as many times as we want to tell you, please apply. And as Fran and Mary said, don't say, oh, leave it for somebody else who needs it more. If you meet these guidelines, this program's for you. So please use it. And as Fran and Mary mentioned, that we've made it much more easier. You can apply in person, you can apply over the phone, and you can apply on that portal that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can access that information by using the MassCap website. It's heatinghelpma.org, or you certainly can go onto the MassGov website. And once you put in your zip code, you'll be redirected to the agency in your area that does operate the fuel assistance program. Finally, I want to thank everyone who made today possible, but a special thanks to Jean Costa, who came and shared that story. It was lovely, it was touching, and God love your mother. I'm sure she's looking down on you. And of course, Tom God, he's also a vendor of CFC and PACE, and he's one of the good guys. And you know, if he gives us a hard time, we just tell him we're calling Fran. So you know. Again, thank you, and that would be the conclusion of our program today. And again, please share the word about the Fuel Assistance Home Energy Assistance Program. Thank you, and have a great day. Enjoy the weather.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.